Alrighty. Hello everyone. I decided to record a video to essentially share the process of me making a website. Um I was originally just going to show a friend, but I figured that creating a video would help a significant amount of people. Um in the sense that it's not necessarily going to be a tutorial, but essentially you're going to be able to see me not only struggle with styling the site, but also you're probably going to have something that you're going to essentially enjoy and use as like a base for your very own site. Um, we're not going to be going over creating uh, navigation menus and hamburger menus or whatever. I kind of stumbled over my words there, but basically, we're just going to make a very simple one-page site. It's going to be great for your portfolio. So yeah, we're not going to be styling lists either. We're just going to be taking a look at like a very simple structure, and then I'll reference some W3S school uh, pages that you can use if you want to change some stuff up. Um, so yeah, I'm also going to keep this extremely raw, so I'm not going to edit anything, so they can watch me struggle in real time. Additionally, I have the page open already, so I'm not going to waste your guys' time. Let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, let's do head. Copy it, and then we do body. Cool. Let's create the skeleton. So, do header. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's do h1 logo goes here. So, replace this header with your actual logo or whatever it may be, like your name, profession, etc. Let's actually, and for the record, I'm not necessarily a web designer, I'm a game developer, but I do have some experience in HTML and CSS. I also have worked with JavaScript, but we're not going to be doing any JavaScript. Let's do that. Right. So this is a header container, and this is the actual header. You don't actually have to use headers. You can just, again, use your logo or whatever it may be. But I prefer to have text. Let's now do our footer. Apologies for that mistake. I don't know what was going on there. Let's create the trademark. So this tag right here is a paragraph tag. What makes a paragraph tag interesting is how it basically works. So if you have something structured like this is line 1 and this is line 2, right? A single paragraph, you would expect it to essentially create the two lines, but that's not how paragraph works. So if you refresh the page, you can see that both of the lines are on the same line. So the way you can change this up is that you create two separate paragraphs, and then, well, I was about to say voila, voila, right there. You can see that it finally separated the two paragraphs. So that is one thing to keep in mind. You have to have multiple paragraphs if you want multiple lines. Alternatively, you can go into the styling and you can change up how the max width of each paragraph. So yeah, but for now, let's do a copyright 2026. by name, all rights reserved. For the record, I'm not gonna use the site. I already have a site, specifically a portfolio site, so everything that we're about to style, again, feel free to use it in your own projects. I don't really mind. I'm here to showcase the process, as I said in the beginning. Right, and now we need sections. We're going to have one section, well, two sections, sorry. We're going to have one information section, and we're going to have a latest post section, or your projects section, essentially. So let's do my projects. You can do, yeah, you can do that. And then let's do article. So article is another container. And then we can do content, which is another container. So we're basically putting a container inside of a container inside of a container. But at the same time, this is more like a modern way of doing a website. You would usually have divs, but I find that sections are easier to work with. You can still have IDs and classes, which I'm not going to go over, but yeah, I'm using HTML5 things, so things that were introduced in HTML5, simply because it's more modern. It's like you wouldn't use a JDK8 and then it's not like you would use JDK20, which is basically the Java development kit, and use old ass syntax. Instead, you would probably amount to creating something that uses more modern technology or code. Also, apologies for my French. I'm gonna keep the swearing to a minimum, but again, this is not a tutorial, so I'm still gonna keep it to a minimum. Let's create another paragraph, and let's create a link this time. So the A tag is actually for a link. I'm not too sure what A stands for. So yeah. Also, let's not forget to close the paragraph. So let's say, click here. Click here to see my GitHub for projects. To see my work. So we're using this as like a dispatch to, for example, ArtStation, your GitHub, Sketchfab, whatever it may be. You just link your work here. Yeah, let's do information. This one. So we're gonna style this differently. Specifically the article. I just wanted to keep that in mind. I want you to keep that in mind. Man, I'm struggling today. It's fine though. No editing. At least I'm gonna keep the editing to a minimum. I don't want to spend a lot of time, adjusting things. I feel like having it more raw, like a live coding session, is the best way to understand that programmers in fact do struggle whenever they work with something. I'm not trying to give you the picture perfect idea, because at the end of the day, we're not really picture perfect. Unless we rehearse something, which I don't. Let's create a header here. About me, and then what I do. So, what you do. No, wait, what your hobbies are. Right? So, and then you can say, I make games, for example, that is typically catered towards adults, for example. Yeah. This is a great starting point, I'd say. Um, well, at least in terms of like the skeleton, let's actually allow ourselves to style the website. Let's also give it a title. So, yeah, let's start off by giving our site a title, of course. I'm gonna say my awesome website, because it's awesome to make your own website. Let's do link rel style sheet. I believe rel stands for relative. href, I'm not necessarily sure what it stands for, but it does redirect. I'm guessing it stands for reference something. Not sure what the H exactly stands for, but I know ref stands for reference. And then we can close it off like this. Pretty sure you don't need the forward slash before the last angle bracket, but I like to keep it this way. Let's also set encoding to UTF-8. Some people prefer UTF-16. I like UTF-8. And then, last but not least, let us make this a bit more mobile friendly. So, set the width to device width, and then initial scale to 1.0. Cool. That's all. Nothing new is gonna appear on the website except for the title. Cool. Let us begin with our styling. Let's start with the color of our... Let's actually start with the line spacing. What am I... Hold on. Line height, sorry. Not line spacing. I don't know why. That was a brain fart there. And then we can set the color of our text to white. And we can set our background color to black. So, for references, I'm gonna actually put things at the top here. So we do A to F, where A is the darkest and F is the brightest. And then 0 to 9, where let's actually use an unlock here. Yeah, 0. Okay, so the way I'm doing that is I'm pressing Alt 0 151 on the numpad. And 9 is the brightest. And then you can keep in mind that F is brighter than 9, and that 0 is darker than A. That's all you need to know. Because F is used whenever you want to use white, and then 0 is for black. I'm not too sure why it is this way, but yeah, it's good to keep in mind. Additionally, let us actually add some padding. So when we go back, bam, our text is white, and you can see that it looks kind of bland, or crude, I should say. So let's do some work on the, I guess, the headers. So I want the headers to have a darker color than the actual paragraphs, so we have an easier way of distinguishing between paragraphs and headers. So we can actually, instead of doing H1, H2, and H3, we can, well, we're gonna keep these actually, but at some point. So, but for now, we don't really need them, so we can say H1, H2, and H3. It doesn't matter if you put them line after line, or if you have them on a single line. Uh, I prefer to make it more clean that we have it on 3 separate lines. So, and then we can set the color to, I guess, A. And you will see that it's not necessarily black. Sorry, it's not necessarily black, yeah. Um, it's more of like a darker shade of gray. So, yeah. And if I were to change the color of text, you're gonna see a slight difference. There you go. And now you saw firsthand that I would say more that 0 to 9 is more on a gray scale, and then A to F is more of a white scale. I don't even think white scale is a real thing, but bear with me. Yeah, let's do something different. Let us commence with our links. So first, let's remove the underline when we're not hovering over the text, and let's give it a cyan color. Oh, that's not cyan. This is cyan. And then we can just copy this, and we can use the hover events. So events are perpetuated through a single colon or double colons. In this case, hover is a single colon event. So yeah, and then like I said, I want an underline when we're hovering over. I don't know why I even cut it saying that. I didn't really cut it in the video, but I rather cut myself off. And then we can do. Let's do D. What do we get there? Hold on a second. I'm not too sure what's going on here. If I change this to this, like, that is weird. Because the underline is working, but the color is not. I wonder if I have an error. Actually, I don't think I have an error. Yeah, whatever. Let's just keep it this way. I think it's cleaner to have it, sure, let's do. Okay, there we go. Now it works. I have no clue what was going on there. Let's just copy this and paste it. Not the entire thing. Let's copy that and paste it. And let's do C. Okay, cool. But I don't like how it snaps from this color to this color. So we're gonna add a transition. So 0.2s, ease, and then color. And you're gonna see that the color actually fades. Yep, there you go. Cool, we've done the small things. Let's move on to the bigger fish. We can actually start by changing the color um, of our header in the header tag, the header container tag, more so. So let's do. No. Let's do E. Cool. We can also, you know what we can do? We can actually go to header here and we can center the text. So text align center. And you're gonna see what the text actually gets aligned to the center. Um, but there's more. We're also going to want to adjust our header, section, and footer by setting the max width to 900 pixels. And we're going to be adding some margin. So 0 auto, 3 rem auto. And what do we get? Center text. So already we have established something that looks better. But what if we want to add some sort of an easier way to distinguish between each section? We're not specifically talking about subsections, we're talking about sections. So, for example, this and this, and we can create a line. And the way that we do that is by saying section h2, and then we use the double colons and then the after event. Then we can say content, and we can set that to an empty string. Well, I don't know if this is called a string in HTML. I just know that this is a string in C# in Java. We can also say display block. Oh, that brings me to the next thing. We need to actually we need to display the content as a block. Let's set the width to 40 pixels, the height to 2 pixels, the background color to, and also without the display block, the line is not going to show up. And I guess we can finish this off by adding some margin to the top. Maybe top works. It does. Yeah, you can see that it looks more pleasing to the eyes. And also it's easier to subsequently tell the difference between each section. But you can see that there's no difference in styling here. So in between these two sections, because this just appears like a regular paragraph. And the way we can change that, well, before we change that, let's actually adjust the max width to 65 ch. So there are several types of units that let's call this section positioning. So in CSS or cascading style sheets, there are several ways to actually adjust the position of an object. Same way, like the same units can be used in order to set the size as well. So you have EM, CH, you have pixels, you have rem, you also have integers / decimals, which is this right here. Oh, and also one more thing. Let's actually affect all of the tags. So let's do before and an after event. And then in here we say box sizing border box. And we set the margin to 0 and we set the padding to 0. You're gonna notice a difference here because it's not gonna look as good. Everything is cramped up basically. Also, let's change the color of our smaller header inside of the header container. So let's do don't forget the hashtag before. Okay, that's a little. It appears subtle to me. Ah, I liked it before. I'm also sure you can do 255. No, you can't. That was my bad. Let's do it that way. So now they fit. Um, let's actually style the article like I said before I got caught off guard. Or, not really caught off guard. Huh, actually, hold on. Let's style the article and the header together as well. So, let's do background color. We can set that to 16. And we can create a border as well. So, let's do border 1 pixel solid, and then we can set the color of it. We can also adjust the padding, so 1.5 rem and 2 rem, and then margin top 1 rem. And you're gonna notice that our website looks a bit more aesthetically pleasing. Um, so if you're not sure how we created this effect, well, this right here is the background color of our container, and then the brighter color around the edges is the actual border. Let me show you because it's easier to sorry, that was the wrong thing. If I remove this, you can see that there is just a border. You can keep this. You can keep it like this. I do find this kind of nice, but I'm going to keep the background color. Next up, we should probably adjust all of the elements. So yeah, let's adjust the sizes first. Let's first do font. Wait, let's set that to 700. Set the font size to 2.4 rem. For this one, we can actually set the font. We can also set the font size. We set this to 2 rem, and then we can set the font weight to 700. See what that gives us. Yeah, great. Let's do 1.8 rem. Yeah, okay, this is great. This is actually pretty good. Let's do the same for the regular header, the regular smaller header. Let's do font size 1.6 rem. Set the font weight to 600. And what's going to differentiate this? Well, actually, yeah, wait. Let's because we technically have the same font weight, I'm going to split it up so that we don't have to repeat our code. Let's also do font weight here. Let's set that to 600 so we don't have to deal with it. Cool. Let's set the margin top to 1 rem. Let's see what that gives us. Nope. No thank you. Margin 1 rem. No, what? Hold on. Margin bottom 1 rem. Although we can set this a margin top 1 rem over here. Yeah. No, that's not good. Let's also adjust the letter spacing for this header, so let's do minus 0.02 em. Cool. And let's adjust the H3, or like the smaller header as well. So let's do 1.1 rem. Let's change the bottom rem as well. Cool. Well, this looks interesting. Yeah. So this looks pretty good. We can do some more adjustments before I am going to end this video. So let's actually first create a media tag. Let's set the max width to 600 pixels. So I believe phones have 600 pixels, and then we can say body. Set the padding to 2 rem and 1.5 rem. No, let's set it to 1 rem to begin with. I'm not sure what that result will give us. I think this is good. Let's do section now. So we set the padding left to, I would say 1 rem. It's not going to display anything, but for the record, I mean, it's going to look different for the phone. Let's also adjust the section solo. So let's do border left, 2 pixel solid. Let's do 2A, 2A, 2A. Set the padding left to 2 rem. And you can see now that we have a good looking site that's presentable. So what we have created in about, I don't know, I'd like to say 30 minutes, we created something that's actually pretty cool. Looks pretty good. It's up to you to take it from here, but if you found this helpful, I'm glad if you found it helpful. Yeah, this was something that I wanted to do for a while. I just never got the time to do it. But yeah, this is basically the end of the video. Once again, I would like to remind you to check the description, because I'm going to be adding some references so that you can expand on your skill set. Yeah, that's it. See you on the other side.